I'm gonna call this building a primitive skateboard. Someone I know wants to build a skateboard, decorated, whatever. So I got this 3/4 inch piece of plywood, and now I'm gonna cut it down. I like the length. It's kind of ridiculous. We're gonna start with it, make 59 inches long, and we're gonna make it about 10 inches long, 10 inches wide. This thing's way out of whack. It's not close to being square. So I'm gonna square it up without using my table saw because I'm too lazy to pull it out so far. So I got this little notch right here that I want to get rid of. So I got a square out. This is a carpenter square. No, this is a drafting square. That's it. And I'm just gonna hope this edge is factory square enough. And I'm gonna use my drafting square to get rid of that. Just that little thing there, because I need a square edge. So, what is this telling me? I need to cut it along there. And along there. What I'm going to do, how far can I go with my saw? What I'm going to do is clamp this sucker on here and run my saw up against it. That's going to be my rail, the fence, if you will. So I'm going to set it up so that it runs there. There, I mean. Theoretically. This isn't exactly totally professional, but so basically I'm going to do this like this. I'm going to put this sucker. I had my other saber saw. My skill saw. I had it marked, written right on there to do this. So basically, it's going to be right about there. I'm sure there's better ways to do this. So 3 3/4 inches. My other mark is right there. So 3 3/4 inches. Theoretically now, that should be straight. So if I clamp this up and run that saw down here, it should cut a piece straight on down here. I'll have to move it when I get it down here because it's not long enough. And then I'm going to go 10 inches over from that. It's going to put me over there. So let's clamp this thing up and see how it looks. Okay, one of the problems I have with my personality sometimes pays off. I can never throw anything away. If I see something that someday I may be able to use. If you notice, the big level I was using is not quite long enough for this, so I had to find something else. I tried something bigger, but then it runs into the side over here, so I had to come up with something that would allow me to run this thing down the side here and clear that motor over there. I don't know how I got that 3 3/4 inches, because clearly I went back and looked at it, and from here to there is clearly 4 inches. Oh, where are you? 4 inches. So I put my square on there so it cleared over here, and it's 4 inches. So 4 inches. Made a line down here. And it's okay, it's almost 4 inches. But that's going to make a straight line basically. So I just need to get this over here a little bit, put some weight on it See if my little saw will hold up. And avoid using a table saw because I'm too lazy to dig it out. How to make a primitive skateboard indeed. Alright, made my straight edge, hopefully. Measured 10 inches from that side over to here. Both sides, since now I got a straight edge, hopefully. There, backed it up 4 inches. Put my rail back on there. And any luck, when I get done cutting along this thing here, my board is gonna be 10 inches. I'll have a big 10-inch record of something. Alright, let's do it to it. What's the worst that could happen? Okay, so there we have it, 10-inch wide by what I say was 59 inches. And ironic part is, if you look at this thing, it's actually got a curve, an upward curve to it, which is for a skateboard excellent. So obviously this is going to be the top. I'm going to round these corners off. I just cut them a little bit. I better ask the designer how much to cut them off, and I'll get my bandsaw out and do some cleaning. Guess that's the next step. Find out the rest of the second part of the design. It's been rough cut. Okay, looking for a tail design. I've been given design authority. Why not? We'll try this. This is a ring off a swimming pool light. We're gonna whack it with a little baby skill saw, and then I'll bring the belt sander out here and do this end and see how if the design's accepted. And I'll do the other end probably. And I'm not gonna be able to do a lot with this thing. It's gonna be so heavy and talking about doing tricks. Ha! I don't think it'll be tricks. Won't have any kicktails. I don't know how to do a kicktail on it. So to get it wet and bend this thing in some kind of press, I think like I need another project. So it's kind of weird that I'm doing this, because long about 1965 or so, my dad built this. He built a couple of skimboards for the kids. I was just a wee young thing, but this one was for someone else. I inherited it. I'm telling you, 1965, which makes this thing what? 57 years old. Yeah, because my brother left for college along about 67. Yeah, I can't believe it. It's got this little notch in it which tells you which way is forward. This is a piece of plywood that's been fiberglassed and worn by beaches for decades, and now it's been turned over to whom I am making making a skateboard for. How interesting. Historic, how history repeats itself. This is a family heirloom. I use this up through my 30s at least. We'll never get rid of it. This will be in our family for 100 years. It'll hold up too. Looks good, still works good. Used as a belly board for a long time. Wow. Shed a lot of blood in this thing when I was little. That was our badge of honor. More beat up and tore up and bleeding we were when we got done skimming, the prouder we felt. Okay, back to the other one. Alright, so where was I? The design's been accepted. That's the rough look to it. I'm going to go ahead and do this side. That'll be it for the night. 3/4 inch. It's gonna be big and heavy. Now, who knows? Maybe I'll carve it out, give them some flippability. Sure. What else do I got to spend my time on? Even more. All right, running out of light. This is the first stage. Give it a little once over with the belt sander. We'll get the other sander out. No telling what it's going to end up like. It's going to be a battleship of a skateboard. Just make sure they wear pads and helmets. Could get bad. Alright, here we go. So, almost forgot again. Next step. Got it sanded down with the belt sander and just rounded off all the edges. And the next step is some polyester fiberglass resin. I'm on my second coat already because, you know, I forgot. It's really sucking it up big time. So I've had to come up with, well, actually I'm still on my first coat. I'm just on my second load from my first coat because it's sucking it all up. And the wood looks dry already. So that's telling me that's absorbing it into the pores and all that, and need to hit it again. Probably do that a few coats, and then the last coat I'm going to do on the top will be a pretty heavy coat, and I'm going to dump sand in it, believe it or not, just play sand, which will give it some friction and stay on instead of anti-skid tape or whatever. It'll be built right into it. Because this is going to get painted up and customized, even though it's just kind of a big chunk of wood rounded off. Alright, get the other side, and when I get to the sand part I'll do another little video on that. Okay, and the final top coat of this is basically, and of course I forgot to show you, you get another good thick layer of fiberglass, and then you basically take just play sand. I just found this dug up out of the ground. You want it nice and granularly. Nice and granularly. And you want to just scatter that all over the top of this. It's going to take the place of the skid tape. So if you look at it, you want to put a skid tape amount on it. And this will last. I have a skimboard that's lasted 50 years. So that can be painted right over. Alright, we're getting close. I gotta sand off the little drips on the bottom, do a little one more touch-up coat to that, and turn it over to the artistes to let them paint it, put some big trucks on it, and take this thing rolling.